June 25th, 2020. Down here at Apter's Alley, this is Bill Apter, and I want to welcome back all the way from hot Atlanta, Georgia, where the sun is scorching down. So he's in this nice air-conditioned studio. Mad Mac Davis, welcome back to the Apter Chat. We haven't done this in a few weeks. I miss doing this with you here.
Well, it got kind of crazy when the COVID-19 all started coming around. A lot of things had to change,
Yeah.
Including things that we had planned. So, but it is good to see you again. It's not that we haven't been talking. We just haven't been able to pull this off in quite some time.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're here. So it's the halfway point of 2020. And I figured maybe for the next few episodes, we would give our picks of certain categories in the pro wrestling sports entertainment field. So I called you earlier today and I said, you know what, let's do this tonight. Why don't you come up without telling me who your 2020 wrestler of the half year is at this point, and then maybe I'll tell you mine.
My pick is actually, it shouldn't surprise you where it may come from, considering the fact that I tend to lean more AEW currently.
You do.
And with that, my wrestler so far would be Chris Jericho.
Oh,
the variety of what he can do for that promotion is just, I don't think there's an end to it. He's doing announcing, he's wrestling, he's promoting. Everything he does is gold and has been since he's been there. So basically, for me, it's got to be Chris Jericho.
Le Champion.
The champion.
And once he watches this, I'm sure he will break out the bubbly. What has been your highlight of Chris Jericho's half of year in AEW so far?
I think the highlight to me is a culmination of a lot of his character being shown, and of course the times are creating an era right now where we're seeing a lot of character development and promos. Chris Jericho is one of the hottest guys on a microphone, so he can tell stories and make things happen. Even the stadium brawl that they had that was so crazy and out there, it wouldn't have worked without the creativity of Chris Jericho and being able to pull things off that most other people just couldn't do.
Okay, that is your choice. So go ahead, ask me.
Who's your choice?
I never thought you'd ask. Okay, so my wrestler of the half year is going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people. I picked this wrestler because of all the opponents this wrestler has gone against and the pure wrestling skill that this person has shown from January through June. And the list of opponents, there have been more opponents. This person has wrestled more varied opponents than almost anyone in the WWE. So let me read some of the opponents, okay? You okay with that, Mac?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who we're talking about, but I think I might have an idea.
Well, she has, and this is a long list, but I'm going to give it to you. She has competed, and it doesn't matter whether it was successful or not. She has competed against Asuka, Bayley, Sarah Logan, Rhea Ripley, Natalya, Mia Yim, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair. She won the and more. She won the 2020 Women's Division Royal Rumble. So I want to give a great big whoo to Charlotte Flair as my wrestler of the half year. And I'm basing this again on she has wrestled so many opponents. She wrestles so very often. She's wrestled hurt. She's wrestled well. She has put on and grown in wrestling matches. I'm not talking about promos or anything like this. I'm talking about sheer ring performance. She has been amazing amazing from January until now. And I see nothing that after she comes back from her injury, I see nothing but more growth for Charlotte Flair as she keeps the legend of the Flair name up there.
I can't argue that choice at all. You and I were speaking recently about some rumors I had been hearing that maybe Charlotte Flair would face Randy Orton. And that actually intrigued me a great deal because I could see that being her only other place to really go as a singles competitor. So I agree. I think Charlotte Flair, she's really, to me, a lot better than most of the guys in the WWE. And her work over in NXT to help build that brand, and then coming back into the WWE's main shows, just shows how hard she's willing to work to get where she wants to get. And quite honestly, she's accomplished about everything I can imagine that she can in the WWE.
Now, my first choice was the guy you just mentioned. My first choice was the apex predator, the legend killer, Randy Orton. This year against, God, Matt Hardy, that fabulous match, technical match against Edge, the Christian situation. And
Yes.
for the first half of the year, that dominated so much of the WWE. And it was done so well because Randy Orton is a master on the mic. He's a master in the ring. He makes you pay attention and listen and watch what he does. And he's believable. So had it not been my choice of Charlotte Flair, which a lot of people are going to go like, really? You're right. Randy Orton was my other choice.
I think a lot of people watching right now would go, well, wait a minute, what about Edge? Because Edge was so much right now a part of what's happening with Randy Orton. And there's not much that I keep up with in the WWE, as you know. I watch different matches through YouTube or the network. But what's happened between Edge and Randy Orton has drawn me in to the WWE, which has been a long time. And I think it's because you have two old guys, and I don't want to call them old, but they're vets.
Two veterans.
They've been in that ring, and I heard criticism, as a matter of fact, of Edge, that Edge wasn't putting over younger talent. Well, if that's what they think, that's their problem. I promise you, Edge and Randy are teaching these younger guys how a match is supposed to work.
Absolutely.
And they're helping those younger guys whether they realize it or not.
No, I did not consider Edge in my category for Wrestler of the Half Year because he has not, other than the Randy Orton program, really there hasn't been much. He hasn't done much else.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, Charlotte Flair, look at the list of opponents. Just go to Google and put in list of Charlotte Flair opponents from January until the end of June. And man, find me some other people that have competed it successfully. And I don't mean winning or losing, successfully in a performance level that she brings to every match. There's nobody there.
I agree. I really do.
Le Champion. I totally agree with your assessment of Chris Jericho. He is brilliant. He is probably one of the most compelling people in the entire wrestling business. He never ages. He's always reinventing himself. Everybody has said that about him. So
I will say this though, and Chris, again, I love your work, but DDP is going to ask for a refund soon. You need to go back into that yoga.
Well, you said that. I didn't. Yes.
Yeah, I'll catch hell for that.
No bubbly for you after that. But yeah, no, Chris Jericho is still, as much as Cody and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Hangman Page, as much as all of them are faces of AEW, when you think of AEW, Chris Jericho pops right in there.
Absolutely.
So before we go, I had mentioned to you whenever we do this, if you have a question that you would like to ask me, just off the top of your head, about anything that in my career or anything I've seen in my career, you want to do that first time tonight? While we're
I
taping this?
would. Hey, everything goes. Anything goes.
Anything goes except that.
Yeah, yeah. And I know limitations, but I've always been curious. You are good friends. Know Steve Borden well.
Wait, who?
Sting. I'm sorry.
Oh, the man name is, hold on a minute. I think I have, and I'd like you to see this, everyone in Apter's Alley, down here on the ground. Can you see my Sting connection
Wow. Yes, I
collection
can.
down there?
Sure can.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Hang on a minute. You talking about this guy?
That guy right there.
That guy right over there. Okay.
Right there.
All right. Handheld camera here, fans. So pardon me. Let me put it back up on the Apter's Alley computer. But yes, I have known, Apter's Alley is crooked now. Yes,
Oh.
I've known Sting since he started. Eddie Gilbert was the first person to introduce me to him.
Did you have any ideas? I know during the whole Starcade ordeal with him and Hogan, that everybody kept saying that Sting wasn't the same person anymore. Did you ever have any indication that Sting had ever really changed? Or do you think it was just as you hear Eric Bischoff talk about it, it was he didn't have a tan and he was out of shape. But you tend to believe maybe there was a little bit more to it than that. Were there problems before this match went down?
Sting, how am I going to explain it? Sting just became more businesslike. Mm-hmm. Sting was very carefree, very friendly, very nice to everyone. And it was hard at times for him to separate that personable, nice guy from the business guy. And sometimes if he felt that things weren't going in the way that he felt was going to protect who Sting was, he had to go into the more business type of personality. I've known him since he started. He's always been fantastic to me. But again, I've never had a dealing of business with him where something might have been taken in a business way that he had to change his personality on me.
Gotcha. I've always wondered that, and I figured you might know anything if there was anything there. It just seems to me that that match, and people will always go back to it. They feel like it didn't quite have the crescendo they were looking for.
Well, there's always when you have a situation back then with a match like that, there's a lot of politics, a lot of backstage action going on. You might not agree with everything, and you don't want to go into the ring tense, but sometimes that's what manifests itself. Yeah, but I have to tell you, through when Sting won the title the first time, mm-hmm. I couldn't believe this. He was the only guy that ever did this. He and his wife at that time sent the staff of Pro Wrestling Illustrated a bouquet of flowers when the magazine came out, with that red background and the face paint almost off and the belt on his shoulder, that picture I took. They sent us a bouquet of flowers thanking us for all the publicity and help. Yeah, so that's the kind of guy Sting, that Steve Borden guy, is. And I saw him just a few months ago before COVID, and he and I have always been very good friends personally. And anytime I ever asked him to do anything professionally, post photos, interviews, or anything, it was always, sure, Bill, never a problem.
That's really cool.
The stinger was not a stinker. He always agreed. Yeah. Good question. Good question. Now, next time we will come back and we will come up with another category of, you know what? Let's do the next one, and we'll come up with who is the best bad guy of the
heel.
Yeah.
Bad guy. I'm sorry, bad guy. You're right.
Well, no, I'm going to go back to the magazine days. The best rule breaker. Yeah. Yeah.
Boy,
So,
that's
but
going
in
to
the
be, boy,
meantime,
there's so many of those. Ooh,
yeah, but let's pick the best one of the half year.
gotcha.
So, you know what? You want to go for it right now? No, hold it till our
Nah,
next
nah.
episode. Hold it till our next episode. In the
But now,
meantime,
for
you
those who
fans
may be
out there,
watching, if you don't agree with our picks so far, leave your comments right below.
right, right, where you sound like Scott Hall down there. So yeah,
Where?
please do,
Down there.
please do. So, Mac, it was great to see you down here in
You too.
Apters Alley. I'm in Apters Alley East. You're in Apters Alley South. Stay well. And where can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Mad Mac Davis. That's MADMACDAVIS.
All right. And I got a question to ask you.
Sure.
Come close to the camera.
Sure.
What is this stuff that's going on with you with Dave LaGreca and Busted Open? I've seen you posting about that. What is this all about?
Bill, I'm about ready to give up. I'm trying to wave and make sure I get attention of the Busted Open crew. They've got a part of their show on Mondays called Get Yourself Over. Well, here I am. I've been begging to be on the show, but still no phone call.
Wow. Do they have your cell phone number?
Yeah, I think that's the problem. They do have it. They're just not going to call it.
Well, hopefully they'll see this. For Mad Mac Davis, I don't know what he's mad about, but and Bill Apter and this guy as well. We'll see you at the matches. Yeah.